All right, good evening. It's good to be here at the Innovation Center tonight. It is 7 o'clock on May 12th, and the regular meeting of the Board of Directors is now called to order, and we're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is over that way. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any changes to the agenda?
So we're going to move the policy revisions. We'll move that to our next board meeting and give us some more time to review those and adjust some of the language.
Okay, thank you. Communications.
Communications, response to public comment is there as a placeholder. We had item B, which was a letter from Senator Nikki Torres, was congratulating Apple Valley Elementary for the state recognition that they received just a couple weeks ago. Apple Valley was recognized for the growth of our students who are multi-language learners and their growth in both English, language arts, and math. And that academic growth for our students at Apple Valley was in the top 10% of all schools in the state of Washington. So congratulations to Apple Valley. I appreciate Senator Nikki Torres for that letter. And then finally, we had a letter from OSBI, which was a letter of achievement. They were recognizing 2 consecutive years of outstanding bus inspections, and they congratulated our transportation department, all the staff for that outstanding bus inspections. And appreciate they noted not only transferring students to and from school, but also all the extracurricular activities. We have quite a few field trips here in the spring, and so just really appreciate our transportation department, and that's led by our director, Jamie Schmidt.
Thank you. Our school presentation tonight, and you guys are already up, so we're excited to be here at the Innovation Center, so take it away.
Perfect. All right. Well, hey, thank you. Jed Waters, Executive Director Innovation for West Valley School District. One of the roles is kind of overseeing the Innovation Center. So tonight we're going to talk about the programs that we have here. We kind of have a whole team that's going to come up, and we have 2 kids that were out fishing, but I think they were going to try to be here, depending on what their catch was or what anything else. So we have 2 of the 7, 9 that may be jumping in and showing us. So really at the Innovation Center, our motto is that we create, we innovate, and we lead the future. So that's really what we're trying to do here at the Innovation Center, is get students ready for that future now and then build those connections while they're here. So I always want to say, I don't want our graduates just fall off the stage. I want them to be ready for the next thing. And I think Jackson will be able to share some of the stuff that way. And speaking of graduation, June 3rd is graduation here, 6 p.m. We'll have West Valley Innovation Center graduates graduating. We'll recognize WVBA graduates, and we're going to recognize for the first time some of our GED graduates from both our Spanish and English program over at high school. That's good. I'm gonna let Mrs. Actually, we're gonna have Mrs. Clark is gonna jump right up. So Mrs. Clark is gonna share. She's our great ELA social studies designer. So her job is to help our students out. She'll talk a little bit about just what they're doing for ELA integration.
Okay. So on this side over here, they're reading their novel that they did this year, and then the 10-12s built a proposal on what they could use on the moon. And they designed the whole marketing with the moon product. They connected to the book that they were reading, and then they built their entrepreneurship skills and did a presentation for their class as well, and who would purchase that product for them. And then on the far side, I have our poetry unit that we're doing right now. They're analyzing mentor texts, and they're annotating those texts. They are writing original poem collections. They're building their analysis skills and their creativity through poetry. And we also have Jackson here, which is one of the poems up there that he created in my classroom as well. So we're doing.
I think the highlight to say, I think with Mrs. Clark, is the ELA, the integration is a key word. So the Innovation Center, we're really striving to integrate our curriculum into what we're doing. So it's not just, I go get my ELA and then next period goes something else that didn't connect. As you can see, they're writing like a checklist for drafting, as for some CAD. They're in poetry related back to the welding and things they're working on. We have aerospace and robotics here, so they're working on some storylines or reading books that connect back to the area.
I had a question for you, but what was the most interesting product for the moon that you saw?
I had one student who created, because they couldn't have pets on the moon, so they created a digital pet. It's kind of reminded me when I was growing up, we had these things called digipets. And so it was exactly what that was, and it was like an emotional thing. So that was actually a really cool thing, and all the kids were really excited about it and wanting to build it. So,
Perfect. Then I'm gonna,
all right.
Mrs. Graham is our assistant director here. She works a lot with the students, so she's gonna kind of go over some more other programs and integration.
All right, like Jed was saying, the integration part's really one, there's many things that make us special and unique in our building, but that integration piece is what makes me super excited and kind of really transforms the learning for our students and how we have that ability for them to constantly be applying it in everyday world and how it gets to be used or how they can visualize something that we read about in the book and get to turn it into something. So 3D printing the Finch beaks, the students, it was not just the math quadratics piece where they were taking that data, right? They got to look at environments and see how these beaks work. And then they're designing them through 3D printing. And then they had this challenge. And I think some people were walking through our building and our kids are just screaming and yelling because they did a 1-minute challenge of grabbing seeds, bird seeds off this table and filling the cup and collecting their data. So they're getting to integrate this throughout their day. And then they go back and they write about it and analyze it all. So it's a really awesome way to really help these things stick, or talking to a kid about a formula and saying, hey, do you remember when we did beaks? And I don't have to give them the strategy or this, that math piece behind it. It just comes back to them and it's a magical thing to watch. Laser cutting tangram puzzles. The kids, they created these awesome puzzles and then they laser cut them. They created the packaging. They laser cut the package. They look at efficiency. How can we best package these? And then they delivered them to some of our elementaries. But they also did some technical writing with instructions for those students and looked at different age groups and were able then to decide where those puzzles would be best used. We also, printing some of the truss for the bridges and really digging into those Pythagorean theorem and force distribution. So lots of ways for students, right? It's not just that math standard, but it has a lot of other daily not the right words, right? But the pieces they need to continue their growth in areas they're interested in within the engineering world, seeing why it's so important they understand these pieces and those different standards. All right, so we have those 4 different programs. And so computer science we have that 7, 9, and then we also have a 10, 12 program. They do different video games. They look at cybersecurity. They were doing some photography this year, and then they also got to use that photography and write narratives about it and looking at different eras and what those pictures might look. So again, we're looking at the eras, we're bringing in some of the history, we're integrating all these different pieces that allow students to really relate to things and understand where it's coming from. They also just went, I think 2 weeks ago, they were at DigiPen and Amazon and getting to explore what different areas of computer science there are. It's such a big area, and so learning what interests them more and getting to have those experiences and what opportunities are out there for them. Health science, all of our programs are really fun, so I can brag about all of them forever. But we use a lot of Paxton Patterson labs. They're absolutely incredible. Students get that opportunity to dig into things that they think they have an interest in, right? And some of them are like, that is not what I thought it was. And others want to know more. Our ultimate goal is we want kids to have certifications. We want to give them that leg up when they're leaving us. So we're working right now on trying to get our home care aides going. We have some different connections we're working with. So we're hoping we'll have kids graduating and having that certification and being able to do that. The opportunities with like the animage table, I was learning more about this year, and it's pretty awesome to see kids getting to understand the body and run simulations and see different ways that the heart works and get to try and diagnose the way it's beating, right? It gives them that hands-on opportunity to really get to understand and dig deeper. They've done a lot of really awesome field trips and making connections this year with the fire department and Pacific Northwest and WVSD. So they're just, getting all of those things they need to be successful. We'll still integrate in everything you heard with all those math and ELA standards. And then, Jackson, you're up. You're good.
Alright, so I'm in the STEM, I'm Jackson Richardson, I'm in the STEM aerospace class. And what we do is we kind of put everything together. We get work orders, we write them out, we write what we're doing, we talk about what we're doing on them. We have a plan on it, and then we get it all drawn up on a thing called Onshape. We get all the dimensions, math done on that, get the dimensions right, and then we either go cut it out, laser cut it, bend it, weld it together, and do all that. And then we're also building a Crafters airplane. And not so long ago, we had it right here in the cafeteria because we're trying to get it all mocked up and see how we can hang it up top. And like the other class we have, that's what's the class called?
Robotics.
Oh yeah, the robotics class. They're doing a whole thing with the motors and gearing and stuff, so we can have a prop on the front while it's hanging, so it can be spinning. The prop can be spinning up there. Do it cool up there, make it look realistic and all that stuff. And then a few of us, like myself, we had interviews at Cup Crafter, so I'm hoping to hear back, and a couple other people are hoping to hear back this week. And then I know there's been a few interviews for Pexco Aerospace. They've done a few. And then a few other companies are coming down and doing presentations, and we kind of see the one we want and we go sign up for it, see if we get an interview. And I was fortunate enough to get one with my friend and a few other people got one.
Jackson, does it include welding? Did you learn welding in this class?
Yes, I have a few things over here. Like this is my star bar. I welded all this. So what we did at the beginning of the year, we all had to do one of these in 4 different positions, so we could be able to do our own projects or do projects. So we definitely learned a lot of welding and machining and CAD work and all that stuff.
Jackson, are you interested in the aerospace industry?
Yes, I really like it. It's pretty cool. It's an interesting place. It's a lot of cool and interesting things to learn.
Are you senior this year?
No, I'm a junior.
Junior.
What do you think's like your dream job?
Probably welding.
Okay.
I like welding. That's why I applied for it, Cup Crafters. So
Yeah.
hopefully I get that.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Pexco
Also-
does like plastics, right? They do like pieces of the airplane.
Yep, more like extrudes and different things. They have some CNC machining and stuff.
Yeah, so this is a joint we welded or we machined together. We had to get it to all fit inside of the tube, so because we're making a big skeleton to put outside of our classroom, we're welding it. So we could put a welding jacket on it and welding hoods and gloves, pants, make it look all cool. That's all machine. This was just all round top or all that stuff. You guys can hold it, look at it.
What was your proficiency with welding before you started?
I wasn't that good at it, but I really liked it. I really liked how things were and how things worked, and I was interested in it. And I joined the class and started learning about it. It just grew on me more.
That's awesome.
Jackson, who do you guys have come in to help you out a little bit or bring up?
We also have Dave. He comes in. He works at Allen, or he does something at Allen Gas. He gets our gas and stuff. But he comes in. He teaches us, shows us tips and tricks on how to weld and be better. And then we also got Bird. He's got a lot of like real world experience in the welding field. He's done iron work. He's done pipeline. He's done all the stuff. So he comes in. He teaches us all different methods and tips and tricks on how to do all that stuff. So yeah.
Question for you guys, other than what Jackson's experiencing with the aerospace program, does the Innovation Center do any other like internship placements? Give them any other like avenues for?
Yeah, no, that's our area we're looking at the end that we have some and then we're looking to expand upon that. So we do have some in there. Last year we had a few students worked with IT, so they kind of interned there. They're hired through that, so it's kind of nice. They can go over to our IT department, work a few hours a day, then come back to the class. And then now we have a meeting coming up about certified nursing assistants. We're talking to home care aid programs. There are areas. It's an area for growth because our goal is really, I said, we should have almost every senior out in a workplace. As we were talking, that kind of fits in a little bit of it. I would love to have this almost be like a draft day where businesses are coming in trying to be like, which one of your students can I take? And I think that's our aerospace with Master Sergeant Bynum, who's running some of the STEM stuff there in his personality. That really is a connection where that Jackson, a few other ones have a number of people coming in. I know work with Perry Tech, stuff like that. They have people coming in, they have more employers than they have students. I want that to be us someday in all of our programs where our kids are seeing that value. And I think that's part of our goal is, especially as we go, students more days are, what's my fastest way to get to graduation? I don't care. Sometimes it's, I don't need to learn, I just need to get to a diploma. And that's what they see as the end. Our goal here, and talking with a lot of students even today, is I said, we want to bring the academics and the application together. I said, if you go into business, that's what they want to see. They don't want to see you just got a diploma, because lots of people have a diploma, and that doesn't mean you have a whole lot of qualifications. They want to see where you can take my calculus, take some of my robotic stuff, put that together, and now all of a sudden, we had one talk like, oh, I probably maybe don't have to go to a 4-year for engineering because I'm doing all this stuff right now. I can maybe go to some employers, learn there. I can go to Perry Tech. We had one last year graduate in computer science. And they said, I already have like 8 certifications. I would have to go to school for like 2 years to get those certifications. He said, I might as well just keep working on my own, get more certifications and get jobs right now versus having to invest a lot of money in a degree that's going to get me back to the same spot and be behind. So like that's the neat part is really we're trying to build pathways that there isn't like everybody's just going right to workforce. It's where can we go? Workforce, apprenticeship, enlistment, 2-year, Perry, 4-year, everything like that. There's lots of possibilities, and Jackson, is represented one of our students in those areas. So our goal will be every kid out working, part of the day, getting that experience. We were dissecting some frogs today, and some were like, there's 2 out in the hall. Maybe this isn't for me, But it's one of those things that sometimes, you come back the next day, you get a little more comfortable. You come back the next day. I'd rather have them have that experience here in one of our, and here, high school, anywhere else, versus they go for medical assistant. Then they get out there, and the first day my daughter was a medical assistant. First day she was like, had to leave. She's like, I'm sick. She's like, maybe this isn't a job for me. 2-3 days of going back in. All of a sudden she's like, oh, I don't mind this at all anymore. So I think that's our goal is to get students interested in these areas, find their passion, and then get them excited. So then they have a purpose just beyond just getting the diploma there. So go ahead.
Back to his question, who are some of the other partners that we've had in the past? I know we've got Magic Metals.
Yep, Magic Metals, Pexico right now has 1 student. We have an apprenticeship with them right now. So we have 1 apprentice, and then we have 4 or 5 with Ajax, which used to stand for Aerospace Joint Apprenticeship Committee. They're an apprenticeship group that works with a lot of our manufacturing related players. We have Van Goren in the past. I'm trying to think, so Comcraft had some, now they're gonna hire some more else. There's probably like 4 or 5 manufacturing places in the area that has those, and our goal is to keep branching those out and make more connections that way.
And then one of our goals is to have students in the health science pathway be able to access the certified nursing assistant, get that certification and work on it either before they graduate or continue on that pathway. So we do have a meeting set up with the South Central Workforce Development Council. They can serve as an intermediary and then look at maybe not only just the hospital, it might be a big bureaucracy, but maybe a smaller facility that's a care facility. It might be easier for us actually to place students there. So we've got some things in the work.
Yep, and on the EMT, we just had a student tour a little bit ago that was asking like, hey, if I come here next year, would you let me go on calls or be part of the cadet program out of the fire department? We're like, well, yeah, of course. How awesome would that be to have a student say, I have to leave class or now I have to go on a call. That's what we want with all of our students is to be able to have those opportunities. So we're now going to show you a project that the STEM robotics class, the 7-9 is working on. Brenda, you want to tell them?
So this is our farm to table project for, so basically the apple orchards, how they get from the farm to your table. And this is just a small part of it. So this is the conveyor that I built, and this puts it in the boxes so it's ready to ship. And that's basically all I can really explain about it.
But how did you guys, what gave you guys the idea? Did you guys go on a trip or did you do anything to see some of this in
We went
action?
on a field trip to, was it Allen Brothers?
Yep, Allen Brothers.
We went on a field trip to Allen Brothers and we made these based off of what they had there.
Oh, very good.
What other steps? Can you tell me any other steps that other students are working on?
So there's like a forklift for moving the boxes, and there's also like a dump truck that carries the apples to a portion of the other section. But
How much trial and error did this project take you?
Quite a lot. Like this is probably the 5th iteration of the conveyor belt.
What is one of the key words? Like when I was in there, you guys have, not everybody's doing the same thing. You have different things. So what were some of the key aspects in getting this done so it can go from the orchard to the table?
So it's mostly teamwork and working with a big group, which is the entire class working together basically.
Are you just doing mechanical skills here, or is there some? How are you making this all go?
There's math, coding, obviously mechanical skills, and there's some others that I cannot think of. So.
Gunnar, did you just go into the shop and start building, or how did this work?
So we thought of the design based off of real designs, and we used those real designs to translate it into the effects parts that we have, and that's how we got these.
What's one complication you've run into so far, and how did you solve it?
A lot of bending of metal. And just adding a lot more supports to help fix it.
Good. Well, thank you. We're looking forward to seeing the apples get all the way down. Do you have an expected date when this is going to be done so we can see the apples go through?
Sometime by then.
Or by the end of the year. All right, that's good. Well, thank you.
And Jed, what's Gunner's last name?
Guys, how big is your robotics class?
I believe 32.
Yep, in the grade 32. So in that program, there's 24, 7 through 9 together. Then when you break a grade level, there's 30. It's about 32 in each grade.
And what about the aerospace?
They're all about all our 7-9 have about 32 to 33 students per grade, and then our 10-12 we're at like probably about 30-ish per grade level in there too. So.
Jed, you probably already know this, but it might be a good opportunity to connect. I know that Yakima is hosting it's the International Agricultural Tech Conference for the world.
Next, I think next, is it October?
I think it's October.
Yep, October.
Yeah, I was guessing you probably already knew, but I just thought it'd be a great opportunity for the students to connect somehow in there.
No, that'll be good because I think that's the part of the agriculture area is all the technology like you can see here is. And the neat part is Jack's talking about welding. Well, if you're fabricating this, welding is involved. If you're a computer science kid, there's all the coding involved and stuff. I was just talking to some students today. So you go to, Born Fruit on a Tandem. Literally everybody has, a lot of them have iPads and they're going through and they have sensors on all the motors, see how hot are they running, everything that's really proactive. So that's the neat part that our goal is to keep continuing on as to bring programs back together. But I like that, the future of ag. We're talking next year, we have some students that said, hey, I want to stay here to design and build my own drone and put into agriculture applications. So it could be cool maybe in a few years we'll have some kids doing patents or other things like that because they're going to come up with some neat ideas. So no, that's good. We're part of myself and a few other CT directors. We meet with South Central Workforce monthly and kind of along with Perry Tech, YVC, and Central, and kind of look at the education areas and how we can all work together with our workforce. So that's good. No, I'm looking forward to seeing that because that should be an amazing thing, bringing some cool technology. It'll be a great field trip for some of our students here. Here's one thing that's kind of neat is where you guys really, as you're talking about our mission and vision for the district, and we've really been hitting a lot on teacher clarity this year. We'll talk more about that in the upcoming board meeting. But this is one of the documents that really was teacher created on this. A little hard to maybe see up there, but you guys do have this attachment in the board and stuff. But in teacher clarity, we really focus on what standard are we learning? What's our learning target? So what I'm learning this, and our success criteria. I can do these things. So if I can do these things, then that means I'm learning this. This is my proof. So as they're doing this task, looking at here, you could say like, oh, we're just building, we're just welding. But the goal is, no, that's connected back to, I'm learning this instead of just welding, I'm actually learning. And then that goes back to standard. So all of our classes have some form of this RAM record that they're using. You can see on the left, a student annotated one. So they're going through, making notes, looking at what am I learning as I'm doing this. Our 10, 12 STEM stuff, they're actually creating their own. So they're identifying their own standards, they're directing. So as I'm working on a different project, I'm working on a PLC controller. Some of them are welding, some are doing stuff. They're making sure that they're actually know what they're learning. So I'm not just hammering away on a piece of metal for, I don't know why, just because I need to do something. It's actually, no, I'm hammering away on welding because it's going to get me these connections. And guys, we're a master-based, standards-based school. It all goes back to this. So it's really neat to see our teachers really utilizing these, our innovators utilizing these to really get back to that teacher clarity. So most of our classes, you can go around, ask them, hey, where do you learn? They'll point to this RAM record. they'll put up in Google Classroom. So that's kind of neat as we work through our district to work on that teacher clarity, which then brings back to student clarity. Schedules, I'm not gonna go through our schedule, but you can just kind of look as you look through these. Our goal is, again, the kids in 7 through 9 are starting their day in their pathway, and then we really start to bring back in from 10-13 on, they're in grade level bands. So the first part of the day, 2.5 hours, they're in that program area, the health science, computer science, STEM or STEM aerospace or STEM robotics. That's a band of 7th through 9th graders together. It's neat to see 7th and 9th graders working together, pushing each other, helping each other out, they're showing the different things they're doing there in that part. Neat to see them learn. Like sometimes it advances the skills. Our 7th graders are like, sometimes we have the computer science, they have a packet like 7th graders do this, 8th graders this, 9th graders this. The 7th graders like, oh, I want to do what the 9th graders are doing. So it's neat to see them trying to up their standards, up their level of doing. After we get to 10-13, then we move by grade level bands. We found that last year we tried to have them kind of in a multi-grade format, and it's really hard to hit all the standards we needed to. So we brought up grade level. You may see like traditional looking like class, like, hey, it's health science, that's working on science research, but it's really under that umbrella of what are the applications in a health career. So we really try to go back to the career connections and the application versus just that math. We work a lot of our math into computer science. There's a lot of science that way, our computer math skills that way. So we work a lot into everything that way. 9th grade, they're 10th grade Jackson's programs you're talking about. They start the day either at the high school. So a student here can take 2 periods a day at the high school. We have some that are over there for pre-calc, some that are over for band. Some might be music, some might be an art class, maybe they want to take Spanish is another one. So that's the way they get some classes we can't offer here. Some we have about 50 students in the morning in this room working on some online through West Valley Virtual Academy. Next year we'll have some doing some online running start as well. Then and we do offer a few, we have our PE class, we have our leadership class, and a few other courses here in the morning they can take. And then really from 9:40 till the end of the day, they're in that program area as Jackson talked about, he's in. That's STEM aerospace program. He's working as ELA, Mrs. Clark. So they're coming in, pushing the class, coming back out. They're working with Mr. Grange on math, other response to science plus you. So some neat things that way. So just go ahead.
On the schedule, you said 10 through 12, they can do some at the high school, some here.
Yep.
Are 9th graders also able to, or they're?
No, 9th grade, because we were running like a 7, almost like a 7-9 school and a 10-12. So 9th graders aren't able to, but they are getting, if I look at the 9th grade schedule, our students in 9th grade, the first day or first hour, you're getting kind of your elective, so your CT related to your pathway. Then the next period, you're getting your ELA standards. So we're hitting our freshman English standards. Then as we go through, we're actually picking up in here, they're getting their art standards. So they're going to get a whole credit art, which then on transcript, that's one of your graduation requirements. So they're getting the art. The art's connected back to the CAD, so computer aided design and some manufacturing process where the tangrams came in. After that, they're picking up either algebra or geometry, but applied back. This is kind of a block class. So as they're designing stuff, they're learning the math for 2 hours. And then after that, they move to our health science program where they're picking up biology. And then they're picking up their health credit and their PE, or half health that they need to graduate, and then a half credit PE. So nice thing is, if you're a freshman over at the high school, all the classes you're getting for your transcript, we're duplicating the same ones here. Just as the way we blend them, I always tell people it's like spaghetti. Traditional school, you get your noodles 1 period, sauce another period, meatballs another period, cheese another period, and then some of your seasoning another period. Here, you're getting more of the plate of the spaghetti all together. So that's our goal, is it's more appetizing, easier to eat. And then Mrs. Graham talking about the Finch Beak, that's kind of project based on, they're talking about Finch Beak stuff in health science, and that connected back to as they're designing their STEM classes. So our goal is a lot of the day, then you're doing some projects that connect and bring everything back together so it's not separate. Yeah, for 10-12, there's lots of opportunities in there if you want to be over at the high school or here. So usually it's more of the advanced class that our teacher does not. We have one math person here, one math endorsed teacher, working all programs. They can't do the calc, pre-calc and everything else. Then you can go over there because we have some great, amazing people over there that they can do those classes and been doing it really well and get college and high school credit.
The other thing you talked about is next year, we're always looking to get better. We noticed that, you can capture a 1.2 FTE of a student, if they go to Running Start. So a lot of the Running Start classes are online now.
Mm-hmm.
So we could still run a full-time student here and add the 0.2 from YVC, and the students could still have access to college credit there and then still be part of the Innovation Center. So, and it's that personalized learning time for grades 10 to 12 to do that.
Yep. The online learning gets them ready because a lot of college, like you say, they're YVC Central. There's a lot more online coursework nowadays, so it gets them ready for that. We do have them in here, so we're supporting them while they're here in the classes. So then kind of the next part, kind of switching modes in our presentation here is this fall, actually into like this spring we had, or winter and spring, we had somebody come in kind of do a management review. So the Innovation Center has changed kind of multiple times over the years since we're there. I like the Innovation Center, we're always trying to improve. If it's not like, oh, we're doing this because in 1980 we did this and this is just the tradition what we do. We're really trying to innovate education. I tell people all the time, I said, education as we know it traditionally is changing with all the different things, it has to change. And so how can we be in the front of that, get some of the things working here, and then start to spread that around to the rest of our schools and other things in the area. And also as a parent, kind of give some feedback too. He said, how do you know that the things you're doing are working? How do you know it's the best? We said, with Dr. Finch, I said, well, let's bring somebody in to kind of look at this with the outside lens versus myself looking at it. I've been immersed in, or from other staff member, or even somebody from our, district. So we brought in Michael Farmer with Washington Association of School Administrators. He came in and worked through a process. This process really, he did an analysis of was here on site. He interviewed 4 staff members, met with 7, 9 students, 10, 12 students, did some panels there, asked them. He did some research, looked at our website, looked at some of our past schedules, looked at all those things, looked at comparable schools. He then did evaluation, and then he reported that out. And you'll see the full report was included in the board minutes. And I'm going to go through some of those things. So I think it was really neat to have somebody on the outside give us some feedback. We're always looking to improve, and this kind of gave us some things that we're doing these things great, and these are areas. The neat part was I thought that a lot of things we already had on the mind, it just is, you can only innovate so fast and roll some things. Some things like, oh, that's in our plan, and then you kind of give some good suggestions. So some of his recommendations with staffing, because teachers are, as you saw from the schedule, I might be the computer science teacher, but I'm also helping with math. I'm also doing a little bit of some social studies, history standards integrated. That's a big load on some staff members, especially coming in maybe from industry. So there's some things we can do with mentorship coaching. We are going to have some coaches that I'm bringing here more next year. So we've already kind of talked to them about contracting out some of their plan time and other things to get them up to the building working. Our coaches from the district usually say like, hey, we love working with everybody here because they're open to all ideas. They're open to coaching. So bringing that in this summer, great. We're going to do some summer stuff on stairs. Actually, all the staff are looking forward to it. So we're building a schedule right now. They're actually coming in this summer to work with some of our coaches and really get their standards dialed in and then get scope and sequences dialed in so we can get a good foundation of teacher clarity for next year. So it's neat to see a staff says, hey, I'm willing to come in to do this because I know it's going to help me out in the long run there. So really looking at that support of our desires of teachers. Increasing counseling capacity. I have to thank the district on that. Our current counselor not only counsels all the students here at the Innovation Center, and we have a wide array of students. Any counselor can tell you nowadays there's a lot of student needs. So our counselors not only that, but our counselor here in the building right now for the past few years, they also are taking care of all the scheduling and the course selection for all of our online students. We have about 250 FTE, so 250 full-time students in West Valley Virtual Academy, but they're not all full-time. A lot of them are dual enrolled between different buildings. So we offer about 15 to 1,600 individual courses, and they're in grades K-12. So this counselor has to do all that work along with supporting all of our Innovation Center students. And if the student comes in crisis, that might take a lot of the day. You don't have time to pick scheduling for kids that could be in the district, out of the district. So the nice thing is we said, we just hired somebody, they'll go before the board, hopefully the next board meeting. They just agreed to yesterday. So we're gonna have a full-time counselor for West Valley Virtual Academy and for the Innovation Center. So that's gonna be a great step because that's really helped us out. I appreciate the support of the district here and making that happen. And that's going to have a big impact, not only the kids here, but I think with our West Valley Virtual Academy, I want them to feel like they're students, not just, hey, I'm taking an online class through WVBA, but I'm not. We need to build that connection. We need to build the pathways for them and really support them. And that's an area that I think this counselor is going to be able to help us out. So that we already kind of checked off that part of getting some MTSSs. Mrs. Graham's going to work on more of that stuff next year. That's why we brought her in. This year is to really help with the MTSS and the sports. That way. Common planning times, we're going to look at how to increase our common planning time. Because a lot of the Innovation Center relies on co-planning and co-teaching, we didn't have time for staff to work together. So we're looking at some rotation stuff. This year, every Wednesday, we did bring in a sub. So then the teachers could have time to plan their ELA. That helped out. We need to do some more stuff that way. Two, some of it's just clarity is we're hiring staff to tell them this is a little bit different than your traditional school. Because if I hire you at other buildings, then you might be teaching, let's say, a construction class 5 periods a day. Well, you're just kind of repeating the same thing. But if we hire you here, you're going to have to rely on other teachers. More like an elementary model, and hey, I have to rely on the rest of my peers, not only my grade level, but I need to be looking at if I'm 4th grade, what 3rd grade's doing, what 5th grade's doing. We need that vertical alignment. Here, that's all needs to be done too. So there's some things we can do that with. Equipment and technology, we're looking to address some IT concerns. The biggest thing is we have a lot of kids doing technology like this, computer science programs. You kind of max out what we can within the safe confines of a school because we want to keep all the kids safe. We have kids trying to figure out, well, I want to do this. Well, this program's blocked because of safety or age limits, things like that. So that's an area where IT is good with working with us, but those are some challenges. Our kids we were running 3D printers almost nonstop throughout the day. If you went back to the labs, they were running all the time. 3D printers are great, but there's some guidelines and settings that we have to like go to a computer, physically plug in something, and it can be a teacher's computer and have to go plug it in. So just trying to find ways to work around some of those requirements that have kind of given us some hiccups there. Really focusing on computer science, health science pathways with equipment and technology. This summer, facilities is going to help put in a few sinks. So we actually can run like medical bays in the health science program. So students then can get their home care aid certification, be ready for that, because we need sinks in those areas. We're going to upgrade our computer labs. One thing we found out is with technology changing, computers that are 4 years old can't run Adobe products right now. The graphics card and everything. So we have a bunch of computers that are really good. We just can't run the programs we need to because 4 years ago, the requirements were different. So this summer, working with IT, they'll be replacing our computers. Unfortunately, you couldn't just, there's not a spot for graphics card. So we have to then upgrade. The nice thing is the computers are still really good for most applications. So then we can use those computers, take them to, a lot of our teachers' desks, other things like that, where they're not using high-end Adobe products. So that'll be nice where we can take those 60 computers, use those throughout our different buildings in CT to support those teachers and upgrade some other computers. So it's not like we're going to recycle them, we'll use more. We actually have some students taking apart and building computers. And that's usually one way they get around is they just build a computer off the network. But again, working at really computer science, health science, really trying to build those pathways up as we talked about. Our goal is to get them into those connections. As you were asking earlier, our goal is to increase and strengthen our industry partnerships. All it takes time. Again, my goal is in 2 to 3 years that our students are out there, they're at work and we're building those connections. People are wanting to come in to do all those things. And then increase certifications. A lot of certifications the kids can get and post-secondary ones, so just building those up. This year we had one out of our, let's say 10 staff members that really interact with the kids every day. One was in their original position from last year. That was Mr. Austin. He's been here 4 years. There's a lot of me that moved throughout the building. Mrs. Clark was our 7-9 computer science teacher last year. Her endorsements in ELA, her background passion is that. So now she moved in that. So with a lot of new teachers in different positions, it's kind of level coach. I'd love to do it all right now. My energy level is let's get it all done. But we only have so much capacity and time. So we've been making those shifts as fast as we can. And still keeping everybody on board without losing people. So. But those are some goals. And then I think the promotion expansion, if you haven't seen our website, I think that's the last one. I do have to
Before you move on.
Yeah.
You go back. I really appreciate you working with LASA to do this outside set of eyes on the Innovation Center and getting feedback. I also appreciate that the consultant did interviews with students to get their perception. So one of those, the intentional focus on computer science and health science pathway, part of that was that from the student voice, they felt like the aerospace was getting a lot of resources. Well, part of that is Jed Waters wrote, was it 2 grants?
We have a few grants. We probably had like $400,000 in grants, into the aerospace area.
Yeah, so that's Jed Waters, our executive director, taking the initiative and really making things happen. And so getting a lot of resources for those pathways, and then the students saying, hey, we went ahead, don't forget about us. So it was great to hear that through the student voice from the consultant. And then also, it's really gratifying for me to have you be presenting that, you're going to take that seriously and make improvements in computer science. So I really, appreciate your leadership, and it all kind of fits together.
Yep.
The outside eyes, this continuous improvement mindset, and then, making things happen. Just really appreciate your information.
Thank you. We have been trying for the health science. Unfortunately, I've applied for 3 health science ones. We haven't got those grants. Nowadays, grants, we're going to have less and less because the state has budget shortfalls. That's been the area they've really reduced in its grants. But the nice thing is through CT enhanced funding, that allows us to have these things. If I was looking at a normal class, the budget would be a lot less. But with the enhanced funding, we do get a lot more funding. But that's because a computer lab last year was $75,000 for a computer lab. This year with chip prices, I don't know quite what it'll be. But that's the neat thing about using CT funding and promoting CT is we get that enhanced funding to do those labs. Without the CT enhanced funding from the state, we wouldn't be able to do those labs. We'd be all we'd have one welder and the kids would be rotating through because it's easy to look at, basic ed budgets versus that. So I think that's been a great thing that I'm glad the district's promoting CTE that way.
I think it was mentioned, but I think it was quickly.
Yeah.
Maybe it's you, Dr. Finch, but a health science pathway through nursing and getting some type of a nursing certification in high school. Is that correct? Did I hear that right?
Yep, that's the way we're going towards. We're looking at if we could do, we have a fire department right next door. We have some students that want to do EMT. So we're looking at how do we in health science do a home care aide / certified nursing assistant or NAC certification, so one kind of pathway. We have other students that say, hey, I want to do the more EMT, that pathway. Pharmacy
they could
area.
graduate with high school with that certification.
Yep, ideally we're getting kids ready for that. Somewhat is that balance. Sometimes you have to wait till they're 18, then they can take the certification test. Part of it too is we'll actually tomorrow the posting should go live, getting the right teacher. So our teacher, Miss Harris, doing great. She decided she's gonna have a baby in July. She wants to stay home with her kids nowadays, to help take care of them. Plus I'd probably say daycare prices nowadays. If you have 2 kids at daycare, almost equals your full-time paycheck. So she's gonna stay home. So we will tomorrow start having a posting go live throughout the district for that position. So getting the right person that has that background that can help get our kids ready and has that experience. For the CT, we need to have people that have those endorsements. I can't just hire somebody in a different area that doesn't have, especially in healthcare. We want to make sure they have that background, and that'll help out because they'll have the connection. So that's our goal, is to kind of build kind of like aerospace. We have some students that, hey, I'm really into engineering. I'm really into, I want to be a pilot. So we have flight simulators in that room. Or I want to be a welder. I want to be a machinist. There's different pathways within that. Our goal is same thing in health science, that you can kind of branch all those different pathways. Computer science is kind of nice because everything's related back to computer, so the kids can all pick their own pathway. You're not limited by equipment or technology. It's really just the students' drive there. So our goal is really to build 4 of those to 5 health science pathways that really are entry-level things. So you can keep going up, but this will get you in the door for that first job. So while you're going to school, you can be doing that job and making money and getting experience.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, what's your enrollment now?
I think we're 175-ish, 180, somewhere right now.
So the vast majority of our high school students are at the high school,
Yep.
right? So how do you collaborate with all the different programs? Because I see some redundancies, right? So how do you leverage your CTE funding?
Yeah.
And, all the extra fun stuff you have, and then so for example, health sciences, they teach anatomy at the high school, right? So, you have an anatomy table that they probably don't have in high school.
We do have one there.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
So, and then I know that we have students at YB Tech doing nursing. So how do you collaborate and kind of not create redundant silos?
Perfect. That's I'd say one of the hardest parts about it, because I oversee all those CT programs at the high school over here, and I do work around with YB Tech. So a lot of this overlap. Like Gene Martin has a great sports therapy program there. So I would never want to hey, let's all go in sports therapy. So there's a lot of balance. I think that's kind of the hard part as we start to look towards the future. How do you keep building programs? Because we do have so many kids at district. We have a student coming from Zilla. We have a few out of district ones that we're drawing in here. But that is some of the parts. So if we look at some of the technology, like at our high school, the health science, we have an anatomy table for them. They look at a deal of different aspects. Welding now, we just through our Perkins grant, the high school have a plasma cutting table there. So really I look at it, some of our programs at the high school, if the kids into welding, they really could take 2 periods of welding. That's it for their high school. We have a welding 101, welding 102. Well, if you're really into welding, then take those classes over there, freshman, sophomore year, if you're a student in high school, then your way to advance is to come here. And that's it. YB Tech doesn't have welding programs, so we're good there. Some of our machining stuff. So if you're really into the program there, if health science, hey, you take that here, I'd love to have them come here. Health science is probably one area where there is some overlap with YB Tech. Ideally, what we do is we try to build up some things that we can do, opportunities here, so student isn't having to go, because then they're losing some of our FTE that way as well. So balance. We have a real strong ag program at the high school, so that's one thing that we had a little bit ag, but it was more on this year, and now we've kind of moved it this year to let's focus more on this. If you really want more traditional ag, then the high school's way. So it is kind of a balancing part as we look to the future. If we try to grow enrollment here, well, then it gets to the balance part of how do we keep doing that. So that's a conversation for outside here, but that is a kind of a tricky spot. How do we build up all the programs? Junior high, we have a drone and aerospace class down there. Well, if you're a 7th grader, you're taking that class and you're like, this is my jam. Well, then 8th grade, you should be coming up here, or 9th grade, you should be coming here, because this is where we can focus a little bit more. So it's trying to balance all those programs, treat everybody with the same way. We try to have each month, see teachers can tell me their needs. So although we might be adding some things here, sometimes it's say, we had to start it all from scratch here. We're in other buildings. We've had the programs in those buildings, so we've been able to just add a few things where now it's building up. We just added health, food science to the, junior high. That's next. You're going to be running 5 periods. Food science and culinary arts at the high school is now going to be almost a full-time position with Miss Teskey there. So we'll work in some nutrition food stuff here, but we won't try to replicate those. So
Yeah.
good question, because that is it.
Well,
It is
and
a
I just want
challenge.
to make sure all of our students have access to project-based learning
Yep.
and, technology and all of the fun things, so
No, that's a good point.
hands-on, so that's great, thank you.
I think some of the project we're doing here and how you can incorporate the math, our goal is that then we can do that more in other buildings, how we can get that where we can have at the high school with construction and geometry could be working together. So that's our goal is there's training in states like, so I think it's how do we incubate some things here and then get that, because my goal is how do we work in that math? I work in it. Some of the challenges get to be when, like I'd love to run a construction geometry, but then you start getting block schedules. So that's some of the challenges then where this works well because we're in block schedules. Sometimes we're hindered by that schedule, which works good for 1,200 kids, but you can't do the things we're doing here at 1,200. But that's good points. If we do want to support all of our schools, and that's another half of my job is making sure all those buildings run well too in those aspects.
Thanks.
Yes. And lastly, just we're talking about promotion. So trying to get it out. I think the Innovation Center, I try to tell people, it's like, I feel like you move in a house, and when you move in the house, you don't want to start inviting all the neighbors over, all your family members. So you're like, hey, I want to get everything put away. I need boxes. I don't want you to see everything there. I want to rearrange furniture, get it right. So the first few years, again, I've been in the role kind of where I'm at now, just last year and this year. Before I was more focused on just CT director. Now I'm taking on a few other things. This year now it's really, I feel like now we can start to invite the neighbors in. We have some good things. We got a really good team. We got good things going on throughout the building. We have a lot of good programs. We have, state and federal programs, special education, family engagement all here. We all work together all the time. So now I feel like now we can start promoting because we have a good foundation where now I feel like, all right, we can invite people in, we can show them what it is, because I feel confident on the standards that Jackson's getting, Gunner's getting, things like that. The things that they're doing, the ELA that they're doing, I would put the ELA that a student's doing up against any other ELA. And again, that's thanks to Mrs. Clark and again, a lot of our math, Mr. Grange. We have a lot of amazing people here. So I would say they're now getting things where it's like, hey, this is where I want. We're ready for state testing, everything else. Now we can start to build it in. That was my last slide was we had field group come in, shoot a good video. If you haven't been to our website, there's a lot of really good stuff. Mrs. Danforth, thanks to her, we hired her about November. So she's our attendance secretary / registrar for the Innovation Center. She's done a lot of work on the website, really get our schedule out there, get information out, get frequently asked questions, a lot of different things. We have probably the next week or two, we should be getting 4 student interviews. They're going to go on there where it's a minute and a half, a kid talking about, hey, I'm in the aerospace program. This is going to lead me. I'm going to be in the Coast Guard, either working on helicopters or helping save people. So really doing the student testimony. So if you haven't watched it, I'm not going to show the video. People can watch another time, but you go right there. It shows you a great video. That's great for a lot of things. So that's more things when you start doing a promotion to get the word out there and all the great things that we're doing that way. So that's Steve. Should have put me on when you wanted a short board. There's too many good things going on.
That was super short.
He came in, he's like, hey, it's a short board meeting. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have been asked me to present.
You told us we had a minute, so.
In all seriousness, it's always a joy to come and listen to what you guys are doing. I mean, there's so much going on, and I just really appreciate you and your team. And I know we've asked a lot of questions, but are there any more questions before we move on?
What's the maximum enrollment that the Innovation Center can?
If we could take the max, we could probably do 220. So that would be about 32 in grades, 7, 8, 9 each, 33-ish, 34-ish. We push a little bit because not everybody's to show up every day. And then the upper grades, we could do about 40. So we kind of were hindered on just the capacity and the scheduling because we don't have 4 algebra classes. We really there's a class per section. So if we're there next year, hopefully we'll be close to the 200 again. The hard part, the balance part is if we're taking from one, we're kind of taking from the other. And our students right now with a lot of running start, FT, things like that. So I think that's a struggle of all schools is how do we get students back engaged? My goal is the application base gets kids, as we talked about, I had some today, I was meeting with a group of really high-end students, like, you want to be here because if you want to go to Perry Tech and their instrumentation, automation, robotics program, I said, you're going to get the academics, one's going over there for calculus. I said, go over there for calculus, 2 periods, come over here, and you guys are going to build the rest of the day, building a drone robot. I said, you're going to go right there. So in 2 years, maybe Perry Tech said, say like, wait a minute, they almost have a year done already because of all these things. Great. So I said, again, that's really line them up for them in the future career. So I think that's the part is really selling is why is this better than being at home watching Netflix in your bed doing an online class or something else? So
Yeah.
how do we give you need to be here because there's value to it. And that's, again, a big sale point to here, and I guess the rest of our buildings too. Is I think West Valley offers a lot of great programs, not only here, not only West Valley Virtual Academy for a number of students, but the high school, mid-level campus. How do we keep getting kids come in the door and say, this is a great place? I think our staff in multiple buildings shows that students, that families that move into the area or say, I'm buying a house in West Valley just to come to the schools, all that shows it. So I think we're ahead of the game when against the district level support, that we don't have some of those challenges that other districts have where they're losing a lot of enrollment, but it's because of all the different levels from top down. And again, our amazing teachers. We got one for the high school right here, Mr. Lieber, things like that, coming in, supporting our students at all levels.
Thank you, Jackson.
Thank you so much.
Wait, I have one more
Yeah.
question.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to give everybody else a chance. Can the Innovation Center kids, and you guys all probably know this, but can they participate in athletics at the high school?
Good question. Yep, we have them in the mid-level campus. They can be mid-level campus sports clubs down there, or at the high school. I tell students like, hey, if you're a football player, you're already there. If you're a track athlete, you're already there. Tennis, you're already closer. So a number of soccer, you're already there. So a number of them, a number of sports. A lot of the C teams, freshman teams practice here because we have the 2 gyms. So no, they're all open. The sports stuff has been great. Coaches have been great. Everybody's been great about promoting that, all those activities. We're all looking at some options, even expand some things in the future, some more opportunities for students between buildings.
And we have some
Yeah.
amazing athletes.
And we have such a team approach, transportation, Jamie Schmidt, recognized that department earlier in the meeting, that, the kids from the Innovation Center actually can catch the bus and get down to the mid-level campus and then do athletics after school down there. So it's just, great team approach that we have here, and great opportunities for kids.
Yep. I remember come to graduation June 3rd, so you'll see all of that. And you guys are welcome. We'll put you all up front. It's great to see. Last year, we almost had that. We're worried about it because the gym gonna have enough space. So I think we're gonna put seating for like 650. Last year, probably like 550. So we'll pack it. We're probably gonna have between IC, West Valley Virtual Academy, and the GED, but probably could be 50 to 60, students that we recognize in multiple programs. So I think that's the neat thing is all the opportunities we really can celebrate a number of them here.
What time is it?
6 p.m. But come early, it's gonna be full. So
The doors
You
are
will-
opening at 5.
Yeah, it was full last year.
we'll have cake and some cookies afterwards and juice. So as long as you sign in, so we can get you signed up.
All right, we're good.
Hey, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, that was good. I'm gonna open public comment time, we have one sign in, Jeremiah.
You can get it.
Come on up.
The other high school teacher.
Oh yeah, I didn't see you there. You came in later than I saw Brad. So sorry about that.
I just wanted to comment about the, Jeremiah Cram, teach English at the high school. Wanted to comment about the novels that I submitted today for the committee, materials committee, which were approved. First, I just wanted to say, I appreciate Joel taking time to speak with me the other day about the novels I presented to the materials committee. I think that kind of direct conversation models the respectful engagement we encourage our students to practice, especially with people whose views that they may not share. I hope more of this kind of discussion happens in the future between teachers and members of the school. At the same time, I do think it is unfortunate that this conversation did not occur before the objections to my novels were included last year in the public document. I'm not suggesting that this discussion necessarily would have changed anyone's position, mine or Joel's. But I do believe concerns could have been expressed in a way that felt more accurate and less damaging to my professional reputation. In light of this, and in light of the fact that the materials committee approved these novels today, I would ask the school board to do several things before deciding if they're going to overturn this decision. First, I ask you to read my defense of these books, and I'm going to give that to you. Second, I ask that you read the books themselves in the context of that defense, if you haven't already. Third, I would ask you to keep in mind these books would be offered as a choice in a discussion alongside other books that have already been approved by the school. And finally, if you're still considering overturning the material committee's decision, I would ask that you have a conversation with me. I will make sure that I have time for that conversation so I can better understand the reasoning. I have devoted a great deal of time and care to selecting these novels and would like to know that any decision regarding them reflects the same level of thoughtful consideration. So, this is my defense of these novels and why I chose them and some other things. I really appreciate you guys reading them.
Okay, that's all, that's signed up. Do you want, yeah, we have time.
I forgot to sign up, I'm sorry.
Oh, you have to sit down. I'm kidding. Come on up. That's fine. Come on up.
My name's Mike Moore. I didn't know if this was added, I didn't hear it added to the agenda. I thought maybe it would. But I had sent a message to a few board members and to Dr. Finch regarding a meeting last night we had for the senior parents. And just kind of the issue we were having with some late notice regarding the firework display that generally takes place for the seniors. It's just a tradition that started, I think, around COVID when we couldn't do all the stuff. And so it's like, hey, what do we do? Let's do a fireworks show. So I would say maybe the past, maybe the past 5 or 6 years, I don't have the history. But, you know, my understanding is, and again, I was just new to this conversation, but the cost for the Sundome went up. The school, the building wasn't able to fund the cost for the fireworks show. And so, you know, as parents, we were like, okay, do we have enough time to fundraise? You know, what's the deal? Depending on how long, you know, the shorter one is $2,500. So we were kind of hat in hand. I sent a message like, hey, you know, could the district pay $2,500 for the show? You know, one of the other things that I was going to talk about was a conversation that Mr. Wolcott and I had a couple months ago, and it kind of ties into this. It was a follow-up after the levy and the bond. The levy was 51.3 or 4, I can't remember, passed marginally. The bond failed pretty, you know, by a margin over 10%. But we did discuss a few things. And most of my comments, I had some concerns about running a bond right after, but there were some other concerns that I had, and I shared with Steve a story that you know had to do with the recent state basketball run with the boys basketball. And I had sent a teacher at the high school a text and just said, hey, you know, is the district planning on, or are we planning on having a pet bus or, you know, a rally bus? Because the year before there was nobody. And it was pretty frustrating and I thought embarrassing, you know, and so I was just kind of curious. And the response I got was that they were going to have the only thing they could get together was that the Ram band, a bus for the band was going to be there, but the ASB was going to pay for it, $5,000 or something around there. And my response was, well, doesn't the district pay for that? I'm confused, like, okay, I would think that would come from the district somehow. And I got laughing emojis back. And, you know, I'm like, wow, that's pretty telling that, you know, a teacher, a staff member, or somebody, you know, doesn't even, I mean, it's not even a thought to come to the board and ask for money. You know, and it kind of tied into the whole, wow, how do we engage the community to get community support? How do we get outside of the shell? How do we make changes to reach out? And, you know, kind of frustrating, but I did tell Steve, you know, if I see other opportunities, reach out to the community, you know, I'll let you know and bring it up because I really do think that we need to do that. I mean, 10%, you know, on the scale of bond is huge. It's no small margin. I mean, that's huge. I've helped out with 5 or 6 bond campaigns, and that's a big number. I don't know how to get to that, but it's a big number. We got to start somewhere. I was really, really disappointed. Dr. Finch, I'm gonna just read the text that you sent me on the way in. I don't mean to call you out, but I'm not happy, and it's pretty disappointing. So the response I received was that this is a tradition that started by the senior class a while ago. It's never been district sponsored. There are other items from the district budget that would take priority. The senior class can make a request to the ASB student directed funds or student directed funds. So again, well, I mean, we're kicking it back to the students. We're kicking it back elsewhere, and it's frustrating. And I went back to that text from the teacher, and it was kind of funny. I didn't even remember this, but following that 3 months ago, the price of graduation in the Sun Dome has gone up, and the district is trying to make the building and/or ASB pay for that increase. So, I don't know how everything went down. I don't really care. What I do care about is engaging the community, engaging the families. We ask the parents to do a lot, and our schools are great. We know that. We sit here and watch these kids. It's amazing. But somehow we have to figure out how to make a change, and engage the community. My response to Dr. Finch was, well, maybe it's time to reassess priorities. And I really do believe that. We have to figure out a way to engage the communities, whether it's sports, whether it's extracurricular activities, whether it's the senior class ASB, it doesn't matter. It's eat what you kill. It's every unit by themselves. And then when it comes time to run a bond, why help? They're spending their energy elsewhere. I know we don't have money for everything. I know. But it is a disappointing response. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else? Okay, I will close the public comment period at 8:01. Next thing on the agenda is action items. We have 3 separate action items tonight, and the first one is approval of the minutes from April 28th, which was a study session and a board meeting, and then a special board meeting. And so if there's no questions, I will entertain a motion to approve all 3 of those minutes.
Make a motion to approve all 3 minutes.
Okay, a motion has been made. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. Motion passes 5-0. There are 5 travel requests. Boys basketball, summer basketball tournament in Arizona, June 10th through 15th. And the high school state track meet in Tacoma, May 28th through 30. Dr. Finch to Winchester Innovation Center state visit. That's in September of 26. And another visit for League of Innovative Schools in the fall, November 3rd through 5th. And then finally, high school boys and girls tennis at the WIAA State Tennis Tournament in Kennewick on May 21 through 23. Again, if there's any questions, please ask. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve all 5 requests.
I'll make a motion to approve all 5 requests.
Okay, a motion is made to approve 5 travel requests. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Motion passes 5-0. We move on to items arising. I don't believe there are any.
Can I have a
Please.
couple actually.
Yes.
But can I ask why we postponed the policy changes again? What was the
There was,
reason?
I had met with Steve Wolcott, and there was some language that we needed to update on some of them, so I just needed some more time to work on it.
So they're not, the language isn't correct in the version that we got?
Yeah, I was gonna update some of that language, yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that based on your concerns, Steve, or just like?
One of them was based on
Just
my
like
concern to shorten some things like we did before. So we
Okay.
were gonna talk about it again.
Okay, and then, I also want, for items arising, wanted to bring up the plan for the bond. I know it's been, a few months now, so kind of what our plan for that. I know Ryan shared with me that I think if we don't pass a bond by next February, there's a bunch of the matching fund that we would lose. So kind of time, right, Ryan? You wanna speak to that?
Decision by October 15th.
Okay,
If we don't get something in by October 15th, we go into a different cohort. That cohort drastically reduces the matching funds that we would get for both the in the whole campus as well as, that was the direction.
So we need to file before October 15th if we're going to run it again.
That's correct.
Okay, so
Yeah.
because of that, I think maybe we put on a future agenda to discuss, but I'd like to discuss that sometime soon.
Yeah, we've been working, so Ryan's taking the lead on this and working to identify what would be the cost of the project if we took Octana Valley off of the project, but still added, like putting a new roof on Octana Valley and also having a bit of a refresh at Octana Valley, like we would have a refresh at Fountain View. And bring that together and what that cost would be. And then also if there's any escalated costs to run the bond in the same way, and then bring that to the board to take a look at what would be the cost of doing the full project as was presented previously. What would be the cost of a revised project, still meeting the needs of our town with the roof and such, but not having a full restoration of that campus. Take a look at what that cost would be, and then check with the board and see if these are one of those directions that we want to go. In addition, Brian's been working with the principals to identify, there really, as we heard previously, there really needs to be community support and have the West Valley Citizens for Better School. That needs to be an organization that's up and running. And so there still needs to be some work done on that. And so Ryan's been working with principals to identify, are there some people that are willing to step up and get that group to be operational? Because that's important to have.
Yeah, and I think the board needs to help with that, so I think, maybe the rest of you have heard about these conversations, but, I haven't been aware of anything happening around bond planning, so I think, getting us engaged and can help with some of those pieces. The sooner the better, probably, to get community involved. And then my last item arising was around fireworks, which Mike spoke to, so, I did hear about that from a couple different parents, and, us cutting the funding just like 3 weeks before graduation is pretty sudden, and I think hard, because now they're trying to fundraise for that at the last minute. So I don't know the story around that, but I know there's a lot of frustration.
Well, it's my understanding, the district, that was never district funded, and so the district has not cut the funding.
Oh, okay. So who is funding at the high school?
I actually don't have exact information to give you on that. I'm not sure what the funding source was, whether that was fundraising through senior parents or fundraising for senior class, or if it was.
So the decision not to fund it didn't come from the district?
Did not come from the district, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. That's
Dr. Finch, can we find out who funded that in the past?
Oh, yeah, we'll be working on that.
Okay, good comments. Anything else under items arising? Okay, superintendent's report.
Sure, superintendent's report highlights some of the outstanding student recognition that we've seen this spring. So just real quickly here, there's more information in the board packet, but I'd like to at least highlight our student names here. So the high school art show, which is hosted by ESD 105, we had 3 students who had their work accepted into the show: Olivia Ovieda, Carly Casper, and Sophia Renteria. And then some of the students actually received scholarships for their work, so congratulations to them. The high school Sunrise Rotary speech, we do have Peter Marinacci here in the audience. Appreciate that Peter brought to our attention this opportunity for our kids. And so this year, Gwen Wise, our student from the high school, won first place for the Sunrise Rotary speech competition, scholarship of $3,500, and her speech was on women in STEM. And Gwen herself is planning to go to Washington State University in the fall and major in architecture and construction management. So congratulations to her. The AJAC testing, there's a center here in Yakima where students can go and have independent testing of their skills. And so we had 4 students from the Innovation Center, and they all did outstanding on this independent testing. It's the assessment of their machinist skills. So the students are Braden Graves, Orlando Garcia, Emiliano Jimenez, and Connor Seibert. So congratulations to them. We also had a high school student was recognized by Boeing. Boeing does a statewide STEM signing day. You have to apply to that. It's for students who plan to pursue post-secondary education in STEM fields of science, technology, engineering, and math. And so Jessica is a senior at West Valley High School. She's an outstanding student from our JROTC program. She's planning to attend the University of Portland in the fall and major in public health and wellness. And she'll be continuing her service to our country in the Army ROTC program while she attends University of Portland. And let's give her a hand. And then finally, we have two groups of our students. We have our high school jazz band #1, and then we have our junior high jazz band. They competed at the Columbia Basin College Jazz Band Competition, and so our high school jazz band took first place in the 3A division for high schools. Our junior high jazz band took second place in the 1A division for high schools. So it was our junior high band competing against other high schools in the 1A division, and they took second place in the high school division. So congratulations to both of those groups. And certainly need to give a shout out to their teachers, Jeff Smith. So Jeff Smith actually teaches in the morning before school at the high school for Jazz Band 1, and then during the school day at the junior high for the junior high jazz band. So I really appreciate Jeff sending me that info so that I could share it with you.
Thank you.
All right, and that concludes the superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. Are there any board reports or board development?
Yeah, I have one. As mentioned, I am serving on the IMC, which is the Instructional Material Committee. I do appreciate the handout that we were given, and I would strongly recommend that all the board members do read the books. I have strong objections to Darius and Twig, Dear Martin, and Moral Thieves. And so I think it would behoove us to look through both the written material here and read all of them.
What are your objections around language? Is that what it is?
Content. There's lots of language, but there's lots of content.
Okay. What do you mean, content?
Moral Thieves, there's a scene of a girl getting raped, gang raped, and then there's smoking crack in one element. There's a really intense sexual scene between the two antagonists of the plot. He's hiding his erection as he's going through it. There's just a lot of material and content in there. But that's Moral Thieves. We could go into the other two as well.
Which one's that? That's Darius.
That's Mario. That's Moral Thieves.
Oh, the Mario Thieves.
Okay, any other discussion or board reports? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. It is 8:11. Thank you so much.
Thank you.